Okay, good. All right. So now that we have that done, and I hope you can see everything, the first thing we're going to do is draw our value scale. Now, for our value scale, y'all have done these and you are getting used to how to do them. Our value scale we have here, this is a 10 value scale. We're not going to do a 10 value scale. That's too much. We're going to stick with our 5. So I'm going to get our drawing pencil and I'm going to draw. Tan paper works great. If you have tan paper, you can definitely use that. Right. I'm going to draw my value scale here, and I'm going to do 5. So I have white, light gray, gray, dark gray, and black. Do I need to do that in Sharpie so you can see? If you remember how to do your value scale and want to work ahead, you can. And this is upside down for y'all, correct? So let me try to do it this way. White, light gray, gray, dark gray, black. And remember, we're going to do 4 to 0, 3 to 1, 2 to 2, 1 to 3, 0 to 4. Okay. Was that good? Everybody can see that now? That's better. I'm also going to do one on white paper. I don't think y'all can see that as well. Oh. I know. It's like I can't have both for the drop for the that's like it's like I can't have both. I can if I raise up the camera, then you lose the detail on the marble. Also, this is going to be helpful, but I took a photo of this marble and I will be putting it in y'all's course feed. Right? Is that better at all? Or you just see the gray paper? Okay, let's see. Let me see. What about... Just ignore my paint can. Paint can's not there. What about that? Was that better? Now you can see. Okay. Dark gray is 1:3. I have to... The problem is it's not in my camera view here. Okay, good. All right. So this is, the ratio is 4 to 0, 3 to 1, 2 to 2, 1 to 3, 0 to 4. And when I'm going to do that, is mostly everybody using color pencils and pencil? Is there anybody that needs me to do this in charcoal? You're using charcoal. Okay. So and if you're using chalk, you will use the same colors that I use. The difference is with the graphite, with a pencil, you will not press down as hard because color pencil cannot cover graphite that is layered really hard, that's colored really hard and dark on the paper. If you're using charcoal and chalk, you don't have to worry about that. That's not going to be an issue for you at all. But pencil and color pencil, if you're using this, you have to add your white in first because it will not blend. That's going to be the main difference between the two. So for black, I'm gonna do 4 layers. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and I'm applying the same amount of pressure, 3, 4, and that is my black. I want for you to see, and hopefully you can, that if I try to take this white color pencil and color on top, so you see how that doesn't color and cover it very well? So that's why it's important that if you're using pencil, you're not applying as much. Dark gray here will be 1, 2, 3. Now here's the thing. You can leave it at 3 and not add white. Or you can add your white. But remember, color pencil is really hard. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's really hard for that to cover the graphite. Same thing with gray. 1, 2. And if you're using chalk, you're gonna add the same layers, or charcoal. Yours is just gonna blend easier. Light gray is 1 of the gray or the pencil, and then 3 of your color pencil. Because I'm covering the graphite with the color pencil, I'm applying more pressure. Okay. And then white is just 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you should get your grayscale. Can y'all see that? Oh yes, so if you're doing yours with crayon, the crayon works great too. The difference with the crayon and the color pencils is there's more wax in a crayon, so you might not get it as smooth, or if you do get it as smooth, you just have to color harder, okay? Are there questions about the grayscale here? Am I good to go on to drawing the marble? I'll just wait until I have an answer. I need a thumbs up. If you want to show me your grayscale, I would love to see it. I remember if you need anything art material wise. So I'm not getting any, I'm assuming since I don't have any responses. Okay, I have 1, then y'all are good to move on. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. When you are drawing a marble and you want to make it look like glass, you want to make it look realistic, you draw the contour or the outline of the object first. I draw this lightly using whisper lines, so make sure that you are doing the same. My pencil just broke. Remember, these drawing pencils are very fragile, so you have to make sure that you treat them well. When you are drawing with this, sorry, somebody just left, draw lightly, because everything we're getting ready to draw right now is going to be erased. So I have my pencil, and I see the shape or the contour of this glass marble, and it looks kind of like a water droplet. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw it, draw what I see. So I recommend for this, you draw larger. I hope I'm drawing way too dark, but I'm drawing dark so you can see. Okay, that's about the size of the palm of my hand or the size of my hand. You don't want to draw this smaller than the palm of your hand for the first time. Once you get used to it, we can get make our drawing smaller, but for this, palm of your hand or larger. And I draw the contour that I see, that shape. Are there questions about that so far? Then I draw my cast shadow. Remember, my perspective is just a little different than yours. So if you're looking at it and saying that shadow looks a little different, the values that we do are going to be relatively the same. The techniques that we do are going to be the same. But in order for me to get the perspective that y'all are at, it's uncomfortable for me to draw that way. So that's why it's going to be a little different. So I have my contour of my object. I have my cast shadow. And now I'm going to draw in the values that I see. Remember, this is done very, very lightly. So I look at my grayscale and I look here and I say, okay, so I see that value right there, and I'm gonna draw what that looks like. So for me, I have this kind of weird shape that looks like this. Then I see on the side here, I have this other value that comes in like here. Can y'all see what I'm doing? I'm drawing in these values. I have these strong highlights, so I'm going to draw them here. And I'm just drawing the shapes that I see. I will tell you, some artists find it easier to look at this than take a photo of it and change the photo to grayscale. And once the photo is in grayscale, it flattens it so you can see the values easier. For that reason, I have taken a photo of this and I will be submitting it to you so you can see this and work on it after class if you need. Is there anybody that's having a hard time drawing those values that they see? Or does anybody have any questions? Nobody? Okay. Now remember, I have the strong value, I have that strong highlight in my shadow. So I want to make sure that I add that because every highlight has a shadow and every shadow has a highlight. And if you missed this at the beginning, remember the purpose of this is so you can learn how to draw. I'm afraid to move it. Can y'all see, hopefully, that a little bit? I hope so. So you can learn how to draw these values. I can't move it anymore because of the camera. I'll knock it over. The values and draw glass and water and things reflective. Okay. This I did with pencil, color pencil, and a ballpoint pen. So that's easy to do. And I did it in like 15, 20 minutes. So once you learn these techniques, you can get it done. Are there questions about where I am here or what I need to do? Or can I go? Thumbs up, you're good. Thumbs down, you need me to pause. Yes, I would love to see anybody that would like to share with me their drawing. I would love to see it. Thank you, John David. Yes, I would love it. Presley, that looks good. I can't, your name is covering the cast shadow, but I think it looks like you have your value in the cast shadow. Oh, David, that looks good. You're going right on in and starting to put your tones in. I'm very impressed. That's great. Anybody else want to share? Okay. So now, because I'm using this color pencil and graphite, I'm going to start with my highlights first. I am not going to apply a lot of pressure to make it solid and smooth. You know how when you have color pencils, you can take a color pencil and color it. Oh, I did it so hard it broke. Color it really hard like this. That is going to be one of our last steps. So don't do that. Apply a lighter pressure, because if you apply a lighter pressure, you're going to be able to blend this better after we're towards our last step. Otherwise, the graphite and the color pencil do not work. I had somebody got out, ask last class, and I forgot to say it, if you want to use a black color pencil, you can. That's fine, but you have to be careful because a black color pencil will get black really well, but isn't always great with grays. So just be careful with that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put in my highlights. Hopefully you have colored drawn your lines so lightly with those whisper lines that you won't see the contour or the outline of your value shapes. So I'm going to put in a value. I see I have a white value here. It's very important that you make sure the brush strokes you're doing go the direction of your object. So this highlight for me here is curved, so I make sure that I fill it in curved. If this right here is curved, so I make sure I fill it in curved. If you don't remember anything else from this lesson, it is to color the direction that the object goes. Otherwise, all of your work, no matter how good your values are going to look flat. If you feel confident to work ahead, please do so. So I'm adding in this value, which is my light gray. So that means it's going to be the 3 layers of white and the 1 of black. And again, I'm coloring harder than I normally would so that you can see it better. I hope y'all can see that better. You will get a value Nearpod too that says everything that I just said. That explains it too. Okay. And then I have a strong highlight here. Okay. And then that I have this dark gray here. So remember, I'm adding in my white and my light. And just because my paper is gray, that doesn't mean my marble is gray. You're looking at the values, not your colors. So then I can come in and I can add, because remember this, it's like a light gray. I need to be careful with that graphite. If you're lucky enough to have a gray set of Prismacolor color pencils, use those. It'll work really well. See how sharp my pencil is? It's making streaks. Sometimes a dull pencil works better. Let's see if it will let me blend that, because I'm not. Yeah, it's blending it better. Remember, you want to do, if you're doing color pencil and graphite, you want to do the color pencil first. Color pencil doesn't cover graphite very well. So I'm adding this in here, and I'm just working my way through my lightest values first. I'm finding on the marble everywhere where I'm kind of in the white, light gray, and gray area first. Like this strong highlight inside of my cast shadow. Remember, the purpose of the cast shadows are to weight your objects in space, to put it so it doesn't look like it's floating or flat. And notice that I'm coloring, even with my cast shadow, I'm applying my pencil at the angle that the object goes. I wish my pencil was duller. So this is a woodless pencil. If anybody's lucky enough to have one of these guys. It's the same thing as my ebony. Well, this one is HB, and this, you know, is more like a 6B, 9B. But it's just the graphite. It has no wood to protect it, so they break easily. And it has like this like coating right here that sharpens off. This is an HB. An HB pencil is the same as a number 2 pencil, or regular number 2 pencil. And I'm looking and I'm adding in those darks. I can use this one for this. Make sure I'm adding at that curve. Otherwise, it's not going to look realistic. Okay. And I'm looking here and I see that I have like a gray here. So that's 2 layers of white according to my chart. Hope y'all can still see that. 2 layers of whites. There's one. Make sure I'm adding that curved. What? So the darkest part is going to be considered your black. Yeah. So for me, from my viewpoint, that is, I have the strong shadow here. You can see here. The edge of my cast shadow here. And then this dark part in here, like from my viewpoint, this would be my black and that would be my dark gray. Okay. Did that answer your question? Did you say no?
I said yeah.
Oh, okay. And so for here, this is, right here, this is a light gray. I mean, a regular gray. So I did my 2 layers of white. And sometimes people use the tonal paper and the white paper because over white paper, because it does reserve your pencils. Since you already have that gray base, you don't have to apply as much of your graphite. It's like an underpainting. And here. And I heard somebody wrote, oh, mine looks terrifying. No, I'm sure that it looks fantastic. Or it will. This part of a stage is always kind of, you start to get hesitant and doubt yourself because you're like, it doesn't look like everybody else's. It doesn't look like that strong marble glass realistic look. But once we're done, you'll go, oh, there it is. Remember going in the shapes that you see, the direction that you see. Does anybody have any more questions, or would anybody like to share with me how theirs is coming along? I really wish mine pencil was a little more dull, so I'm applying it with the side so I can blend it a little better. So we haven't gotten quite to that part yet. We are adding the values. So if you're thinking, it doesn't look quite realistic, I'm not sure, it looks terrifying, I don't know what to say. You're not quite at that stage yet. You should be pretty close, but you're not quite there. So now I believe I have all of my values added. So I'm going to check to make sure I have all my values added. This is not going to look realistic yet. It's just going to be your values where you've just mapped those out and laid those down on the paper. Remember, applying the direction that the object goes. Okay? And then I'm going to show you the last kind of thing that you do to make it look realistic. Are there questions before I get to that? No? Okay. So this is where you make it realistic. You need to take your finger or your stump or your Q-tip or your tissue, whatever it is that you're using. Look, I've lost my white again. And you need to start to blend. Now, I can take my stump. This had graphite on it, so I'm going to go to the cleaner side. The way that you clean a stump is you take it, and if you have denim jeans on that are dark, and you know you're not going to get in trouble, I always wipe mine on my jeans because it cleans it off. But a tissue and a twisting motion would work too. But don't say but whoever does your laundry, maybe that's you. Don't say, but Miss Creef told me to put it on my pants. No. No. I'm blending. When I get to the white part, here, I go over it and now I color that hard with more pressure. So I can come in here and apply more pressure to color it hard. Now remember, I still see that harsh line, but y'all should not have that. I only see it because I was drawing dark enough for y'all to see. So I'm blending it to make it nice and smooth. It has to look smooth to be realistic. If you're using color pencils or crayons, chalk and charcoal will do that too. So I've blended it, and you even make sure you're blending in the direction that it goes. Then I take my color pencil and I do my highlights, and I do one more layer so that this is really bright. And if it will let me, I'm using drawing the charcoal, so I don't know. I've sharpened my color pencil and I have this like flare here. These things keep breaking. And then here. I might have to switch Prismacolors. Here.